HMOs are a fantastic cash flow strategy. What that means is they produce a far more superior income than a standard family house would do when you're letting it out. What makes it even better is if you can acquire it like this using none of your own money, which is exactly what we did with this particular house. So we're in South Birmingham right now. It's an existing HMO that we're renovating and making it much nicer, much more modern, much more luxurious than it originally was, so it can produce a really good income for us. So let's go on through, let's have a look and see what progress they've made. And we're about 2 months away still from completion, so come on through. If you're watching my videos for the first time, my name is Hussain. On this channel, I share with you my 15 years of property investing experience to ultimately help you get further, faster in your property investing journey. And the way I do that is by having 3 videos a week, sharing with you what I'm up to, sharing some of my knowledge and experience with you. The property that we're at now is what I'm really excited about. We've been here a couple of times before to show you some of the progress in terms of the renovation on this particular property. It's an existing house that was already well, it's always been an existing house. It's an existing HMO that we're renovating and modernizing it and making it much more nicer to the kind of specification that we need right now in the marketplace, what the market requires, and also how to get the best possible rents, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. The reason we take a house like this and have multiple occupants in it, because it means we can create a much more higher income from it, and it also pushes up the value of the property as well. So here will be the communal kitchen, and what we're doing here is we're rejigging the layout slightly. There'll be a partition coming out here because we need a bit more space in that room. So this room will come to about here in terms of kitchen. This will be our communal kitchen space here. We'll have a couple of ovens just over there, and we'll have the dishwasher here and a sink over here as well. And on this side we'll have the wall units, and we'll also have some worktop space. Because we have 6 occupants here, there needs to be enough space for them to be able to prepare, cook food, and food storage as well. So essentially it's a case of getting that right, but also making it look nice as well. And above us we've fitted a new ceiling in here, and you can see some of the cables. This is one of the few ceilings we haven't boarded over yet. The cables, you can see you've got the electric lights there going through, you've got the fire alarm system there as well, you've got emergency lighting there, we've got the Wi-Fi cabling system up there as well. We'll have sensors for the lighting in here, and emergency light as well. If I haven't forgotten anything, there's quite a lot of cables up there. So this is about to get boarded over. We're at the stage now where the first fix is nearly done. We'll hopefully start skimming soon. The space behind us will be some more communal space, and I want to show you some of the work that we'll be doing there. In fact, let's go on through there and let me show you what we're doing in there. Here at the back of the property, we've delayed a little bit in terms of doing the works here because it's been quite cold and the weather's starting to improve now, so we're going to come out here and get things progressing here. We've started doing some work on the drains. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done before the drains are completed. The last time we were here, this was all being dug up and being prepared. In fact, if you want to watch that video, we'll link it in the description below, so make sure you watch that after this particular video. Also, the other things we're doing at the back here, we're changing configuration and layout slightly of the doors and windows, just moving them to get them into the right place. For instance, this window behind me will be slightly bigger. This door on here needs to move across slightly. And sometimes people ask me, why is you moving a door by 6 inches or a foot? What about the cost involved in doing that? Yes, it can be costly, but for us it's really important that the end product works really right, the functionality is there, and by planning things at the early stage and getting these things right, so afterwards when we come to work on internals in terms of layout, furniture, everything's been laid out in a way that works really well for us. And in fact, if you would like to watch a video of one of our completed projects, we've just did one very recently, we'll link that below as well, so you can have a look at that. That's when it's all completely finished and looks great. Right now it's still a bit of a building site. I mean, the works are not complete. We've got a number of more weeks left here before we do this. One thing I'm a little bit unsure about at this stage, and be useful to get your thoughts on, is the roof behind me over here. This particular roof needs redoing, and what I'm thinking of doing, we'll have a dual pitch and maybe vortex it and have the Velux windows in there, just so it looks really nice. There's lots of light in there as well, and also for a communal space, I think it will just make it a really nice, attractive space. It'll be interesting to get your thoughts, what you would do with that roof, and what you think would probably work well. Just pop in the comment section below. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. So what we'll do now, we'll go inside and let me show you something we're changing in terms of layout wise from what we traditionally do in this type of house. Hey, look, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and enable the notification bell so that way you are notified when YouTube is releasing these videos out, and so you're not missing any of the stuff that I'm up to right now. This room that we're in now is probably the smallest bedroom in the house. Now, originally this would have been the bedroom at the back of the house on the first floor, and we've got the bathroom over here and then really tiny box room. So what we generally tend to do with these Victorian style properties is we strip out the bathroom from there and we make the room a little bit bigger, and we put a smaller ensuite effectively in this room. However, in this particular room, for the first time, actually we're changing it around. It's like we're doing something a little bit different. Rather than having the ensuite there where you're standing right now, what we would have had is or rather what we're doing is moving it onto this side. So we have the ensuite room over here as opposed to over here in this room, because we're changing the layout very slightly. Now, as it's a smaller room, it's still a decent sized room, but it'll only work well if it's planned right in terms of getting everything in there and getting everything to fit. So this particular room, we're really trying to plan everything down to the inch in terms of where things are going to go to make it work. And this is the room that's above the kitchen, so it's a new floor that's gone in, it's leveled out. We did have some steps here, so it'll still work out and be a nice room. When they built these houses, the Victorians, they knew how to build solid houses, but one of the things that maybe weren't so good at is the insulation of the houses. They tend to get, these houses tend to get cold, so what we've got here is just offcut some of the insulation boards we use. So we've got nice thick insulation that goes on these external walls. That means hopefully, particularly with a room like this where you've got 1-2 walls that are external on the property, and the rooms are quite difficult to warm up and keep warm, so this means also it keeps it nice and warm, and we comply with today's building regs as well. The other thing we sometimes will do with these rooms is we'll lift this ceiling and vortex it up, so it gives it the sense of much more space, much more lighter. But because on this property we're not completely re-roofing, we're not changing the whole roof, we would have had to gone through quite a bit of expense to raise this ceiling up to try and get that extra Velux window up there. So in this particular case, we've decided not to do that. We've gone for the traditional flat ceiling that we would have had. But what we've also done is put a bigger window in here, so there's still good light coming into this room. If you've enjoyed watching this video, then make sure next you watch this one over here. It was the time we were last here, so you can see the progress that we've made so far, and also we'll be back here again in a few more weeks to show you further progress. But before you go, also click on my face just down here to subscribe to the channel, and that way you can see the videos as and when we release them.